Morning.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm enjoying this cool weather in Central Florida right now.
Good.
Busted out the Captain America hoodie.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I guess I just feel like I'm just wearing a Grand Californian, so I feel inadequate. I should have thought of this through before I started planning my day. But we're gonna talk Marvel, right? So should we get started?
Yeah, let's get into some comics. So as you can see, we're going to talk about X Factor number 4. I was a little bit thrown off by the title. I was just, all right, this is just Ten of Swords now, right? Like we're not, it doesn't really matter what title it is. We're into this crossover event. There's a lot happening in this issue. It was a little bit overwhelming. Another long one. It was 41 pages again. So yeah, what did you think?
I actually liked it. It kind of directly led out of the first issue we read last week, and so I felt like it was we sort of criticized leading up to it that it was kind of challenging, but I felt like I understood it. There was probably a little too much information, but I could kind of pick up on what I didn't need to know. And we talked last week about the challenges of resurrection, and this kind of just brought it full circle. Not necessarily in a way that made a super lot of sense, but um, it definitely was coherent. So I like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice that there are stakes again, right? Like we
Right.
talked last week about how resurrection kind of just eliminates, and that's always been a thing in comics anyway. But now it's just like, oh well, we have these resurrection pods. It's that simple. And
Right.
this, yeah, there are consequences now. They're a little weird, and the reasoning for them is a little weird. I guess if somebody dies outside of the range of their Wi-Fi network, it doesn't really. They can't bring them back, but yeah, I think this one's better than the previous issues that have kind of gotten into the Ten of Swords. I am still expecting something big from Apocalypse. We didn't quite get what I was expecting out of him in this issue, so I'm hoping that turns around. It seems like it will, but I'm looking forward to getting into that. There's a lot of like politics at play in this, and I guess that's kind of the way this has been going with the X-Men in general, as they're starting their new island home and figuring out all their laws and everything like that. So it's interesting. It's definitely very different, and like I said, there's just a lot happening. So you got to try and do your best to simplify the story and not worry too much about all the details.
Yeah, you definitely need to be careful to like not get too in the weeds. I mean, I guess like if you're totally loving this and you want to get super like Lord of the Rings appendices style, that's one thing. But I think it was accessible for people who don't want to do that. Like, we have to read 5 comics over, in a couple hours, and I didn't want to spend that much time, getting too much into the weeds of different realms and stuff. You want to focus on the realms that matter, and I bet you there's a lot of really cool things in it if you need them. But I felt like this one really balanced it out better than others. And I don't. It'll be interesting to see as we go through this event if there's certain authors that I feel like or writers that I feel like do a better job of making this understandable.
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested to see where it goes from here for sure.
Cool. So, where do you want to go next?
Let's go to Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Sounds good. What did you think?
I really like this one. First of all, it feels like it was so long ago that this series started. I couldn't believe this is still only on issue 3, and it really just picks up right where I remember leaving off with it. And it's very weird because it was like it felt like I read this comic 2 years ago. But yeah, I really like this. This is a series that people should pick up if they're looking forward to the Disney Plus series for sure. The relationship between Falcon and Winter Soldier feels identical to their relationship in the MCU. The banter that they trade is hilarious. Really, really enjoyable comic. I'm not completely sold on the quote unquote villain that they're dealing with right now. I'm interested to see what they do with him and how things play out. But as of right now, I'm kind of on the fence. So we'll see where that goes. But I will say this, and this was close. It was definitely close this week, but this is going to be my pick of the week.
This is my pick of the week too. It teetered on the sort of ridiculous a little bit, but I enjoyed the sort of classic Falcon and Winter Soldier embracing their Captain American heritage, Hydra and all that stuff, and I thought the interplay between Falcon and Winter Soldier was really strong. The acting there, the kid, I think is an interesting character, and he comes off across a little bit like a throwaway character, but then when you actually listen to what he says and get into his head a little bit, I think it adds a whole lot. And then the reveal at the end I thought was pretty cool. Totally, I like it sometimes when they play with the fact that like Hydra and Shield and stuff, like it's they're still gonna have like a break room and a coffee pot, and there's infrastructure and there's process, and I like that every once in a while. It makes it because sometimes instead of just having these weird nameless nebulous organizations, it brings it into a sort of like a workplace comedy at times.
Yeah, I agree 100%. They you get the Hydra coffee mug and stuff like that, and there's some other comics get into some of like the funnier characters of Hydra and Shield, and I like when the comics don't take themselves too seriously. And like I said, Falcon and Winter Soldier are hilarious in this one, and it's not too serious, despite the fact that they are, literally punching people who are shooting at them the entire time. It's still they take the time to trade some witty banter.
I think it's funny that we have once again picked the same pick of the week. So I don't know if we have similar taste or just good taste. So
I have to fully get on board with my pick of the week here. There we go.
Nice. Okay, speaking of Avenger characters.
Yeah, I think like you just pointed out that we've been agreeing a lot on our picks of the week, and I feel that not that you've been down on this series, but I feel like I'm way more into it, and that's because I'm a huge Moon Knight fan. Mm-hmm. And this one almost stole my pick of the week because of the way it ended. I really enjoy the way this is going, and this is what is this part? This is part 4, as you can see right there on the cover. So this has been going on for a little bit. So definitely not one that you want to pick this one up. You'll be completely lost if you just pick it. But this has been going on a little bit. Moon Knight and the moon god Khonshu have taken over the world and are preparing for a fight with Mephisto, and have taken the powers or weapons of several different heroes, and Moon Knight is wielding all of them against the Avengers. And it's been a crazy ride. And this issue in particular really gets you into Moon Knight's head, which is a scary place to be. So I definitely found it interesting.
Yeah, you've definitely been high on this series, and I, often because we pick like the sexy new titles that we don't get, deep into a story. But I really like where this went. Like it took its time, which is I think important in an Avengers story because there's so many characters typically. But yeah, and I did like the ending. So I agree. You're winning me over on this one.
Yeah, Moon Knight's just such a great character. So the fact that we are now this is part 4. We're through 4 issues of this ongoing arc here, and I'm still not entirely sold on the fact that it's actually happening. That just makes Moon Knight such an interesting character to me, and I love everything about it. So I'm all in on this one.
So then we have our final title, which was probably timed to an upcoming movie release that is now farther away. Shang-Chi #1.
Yeah, and you can see my full written review of this right now up on laughingplace.com. I also really enjoyed this one. This is a good week for the comics that we got. This wasn't. This was sort of the opposite of what's going on in Ten of Swords. Like it felt much simpler, but then at the same time, if you're not familiar with Shang-Chi as a character, you kind of get all of his history very quickly. So once you get past that, though, I promise if you get through the entire issue, it all kind of comes together and everything makes sense. It's very simple once you get through the whole thing. It just seems like a lot, at first. There's kind of, a team of martial arts fighters and a dragon very quickly, so like there's a lot to handle. But if you, move on past that and get through the whole thing, it really boils down to a nice, simple story and a very enjoyable one.
Oh, is it windy in there? So I liked it, but I kind of felt like we'd been here before. And it a Shang-Chi story is always going to be for prologue. It's kind of like Thor, like it just has to. It's part of what it is. But we've gone through the superhero character who was an Avenger, so you always have to go back and you ground them again so you can go on another hero's journey. But then you always have to have the you were an Avenger, why are you working here? And then oh well, I'm trying to make things, I had a tough time or whatever, and then inevitably something will come and crash through and it's got to rise to the occasion. And I'm not super familiar with Shang-Chi, so it's a character that I enjoyed getting to know him a little bit. And, having grown up in the Bay Area, and Chinatown and it was neat to see that and see the street name, Stockton Street. But I'm going to give this title more time, but the first issue just seemed a little too boilerplate for me. Like, you could replace this with Thor, you could replace this with Hawkeye, all these characters that had been taken down a peg at some point in their life, and just starting over.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. It is, like I said, it's a very simple story. It comes down to just basically an introduction to the character. Two things. One thing I found refreshing about this is that there is a lot of action in this first issue, and when you're dealing with a character like Shang-Chi, who, there are some sort of like mystical elements to him, but as far as his fights go, it's kung fu. It's martial arts. It's just punches and kicks, as opposed to throwing somebody into another dimension or slicing somebody with a magical sword. So it's kind of refreshing to kind of get that sort of realism in the action. There's also something so effortlessly charming about Shang-Chi. I can't put my finger on it. He's just such a likable character. He's not the funniest character. He's not Peter Parker. He's not the most charismatic character. He's not Steve Rogers. It's just something about him is just so likable, and it's just very easy to get behind him. So I'm interested to see where this goes, and I like that this will serve as an introduction before we get the MCU edition as well.
Yeah, it definitely sets it up. And so, as I said, I want to learn. I'm excited. I want to learn more. I do like the character, but I just hope the story is engaging enough that I want to keep up with it.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
So moving on, we as we often talk about on Marvel Time, Barbie.
Yes, the often talked about topic of Barbie dolls. And so as you can see, new Black Widow Barbie dolls tied into the movie, which I would assume Barbie just got tired of holding on to and was finally just like, you know what, we're releasing them regardless. They are very impressive. I mean, I know it's a Barbie doll, it's not something that, yes, it's a collector's item, but it's also it's a toy. But looking at these, I mean, they look like Scarlett Johansson. I was impressed by them.
Yeah, and I also have a full review. So the one in black, I believe, is an Amazon exclusive, and the one in white is a Barbie.com exclusive. I
Yeah.
might have that swapped, but so we got the one from Amazon because Prime, but then the one from Barbie. So once he gets the second one, we'll do a full unboxing of them. But the high end Barbies that they've done lately, they've done them from Star Wars. They're fun sort of mashup expression of a toy line, especially a character like Black Widow, who is just has such a unique style to her. That's cool. It's not just a superhero spandex thing.
Right. Yeah. No, she has definitely a very cool look, especially that white suit one. That we'll see in the movie. So I think it looks pretty good.
So we also had last week. You were actually at Busch Garden, so I had to watch it. But we had Hashgraph Con, and there was a Marvel panel. So do we just want to quickly go through it? You want me to take care of it since I watched it?
Yeah, well, I've looked through some of the that they announced, and I got to say the one thing that I am most excited about, and again, I've said this before, I'm not the biggest collector. I just don't have the space for all the stuff that I would, spend so much money on. But this Stormbreaker that you just scrolled past a little bit there, that thing is awesome. I would just put that thing right up on my wall. That thing it's so cool. It lights up in different colors. Yeah, just really awesome. We just rewatched Endgame again a couple days ago, and yeah, now I want Stormbreaker.
It's interesting in that when they made when Endgame came out, and like there's not a lot of toys because I think they're trying to keep everything under wraps. But then we all wanted the Iron Gauntlet from the end of the movie, right? And then it's when they announced this, I was like, oh yeah, Stormbreaker. Like I kind of feel like it got overshadowed. But then when you watch it again, you realize how cool this thing is. Sort of a Mjolnir next generation.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was just saying too, as we were watching Endgame, that I Stormbreaker's cool, but I prefer Mjolnir. I think just like the mystique of Mjolnir, stands out so much. But now that I see that I could have that Stormbreaker, I don't know, that's really cool.
Yeah, from a role play thing, I think the longer staff just makes it fun to hold.
Yeah,
the Mjolnir has a whole, if the worthy thing, which is cool. Right. But in terms of like just grabbing something fun, I can see Stormbreaker.
Yeah, they announced this retro line, I think, ahead of PulseCon. We talked about that very briefly last week. These are awesome. These are so cool. I love the look of the characters here. Obviously the retro look, especially that Cyclops, just reminds me a lot of the X-Men arcade game. So yeah, these are really cool. The 3.75 inch figures, so different, so unique, and just a really cool look.
Yeah, they kind of mentioned how like it was designed as if Kenner, the folks that did Star Wars, had the Marvel license, like what would it be? And so, they're so bright and vibrant. A lot of like the Marvel Legends are aged or distressed, right. To kind of make them more accurate. But these are just classic comic books that I want them just to kind of put up on display. Not so much because I have an affinity for this version of Iron Man, but I just think they pop so well that they're fun.
Yeah, definitely. And then one other thing I wanted to point out was this villains collection down here. I love when they do some lesser known characters. So like an arcade figure is really cool. And then even he's not so lesser known at this point, but Dormammu. I mean, people probably wouldn't recognize that that's Dormammu, if they're just fans of the MCU. But that's really cool. The Thanos figure is of course awesome with the comic book look. Yeah, so these were really cool. Also, definitely caught my eye.
And then what I thought was cool is the House of 10 figures, just because they are so new that they're able to take something from the recent comic books and just turn them around so quickly. I dig this Magneto.
Yeah, that I've liked Magneto's look in this whole Jonathan Hickman X universe. So
going back, it was nice to see. It was nice to see in I guess X Factor today. Professor X without his helmet on to realize it was actually.
Yeah, I was actually starting to wonder what was going on with that because he hadn't taken it off in so long. I was like, did I miss something? Did he, Does he look like what's the alternate Reed Richards that I'm blanking on his name?
Yeah,
right
yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, the big sort of long
Maker, I believe is his name. Yeah, I was thinking, does he have some sort of disfigurement like that or something? But yeah, no, it was good to see that.
So Marvel Unlimited Plus revealed their 2021 membership kit. So it comes with an Iron Man comic, a Ms. Marvel figure, which comes with, she's dressed in her sort of SpiderMan fan outfit, but also has the elongated hands, and the Stark Unlimited patch. So I mean, Ms. Marvel's just hot right now because the Avengers game. So
yeah,
makes sense.
And of course, her own series coming up too.
Yeah.
But also, if you're not a member of Marvel Unlimited and you want to get into reading comics, sign up for it. 100% worth it. I've been a member for I don't even know how many years now. And especially if you really want to take it to the next level and get cool stuff like this, Marvel Unlimited, that Plus membership, gets you not only stuff like this, but all kinds of cool experiences. I guess this is, like I said, it's been a while now, but I actually got to go to the premiere of Jessica Jones in New York because of this membership. So, I mean, do it. If you're a Marvel fan, if you want to get into comics, definitely at least look into Marvel Unlimited. It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I've been a Plus member for a while, and especially if you go to a con like a New York Comic Con or San Diego Comic Con. Obviously, that's not happening right now, but
right.
They give you special benefits there too. So, in other merchandise news, we got the Fortnite crossover in Marvel.
Yeah, we talked about this Fortnite Nexus war a little bit when they announced it. Neither one of us is really big on Fortnite, but the merch does look really cool. I really like this that Dr. Doom look on that hoodie, and it comes on different t-shirts and stuff like that. The Silver Surfer, it looks really awesome. And I mean, if there was anything that was going to get me to start playing Fortnite, it was this. So I might end up having to check it out.
And then this is something I know nothing about, which makes me a minority, but Super M Marvel.
Yeah, to take us out of our expertise of Fortnite and into K-pop, where we, are obviously very knowledgeable as well. Yeah, it's just really, it's cool to see Marvel kind of branching out into other realms and just kind of spreading the Marvel universe a little bit more. I mean, it's obviously already huge with the MCU, but just getting into all these other little corners and spreading, we might see Marvel a little bit more every day, which is always exciting to nerds like us.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to do everything, right? So, when you get those crossover things, like, Disney, when they do those Disney crossovers, it's like, we love it because we're Disney fans, but,
right.
Each their own. You don't need to buy everything.
Right.
And then finally, we had a new episode of Spider-Man Maximum Venom last weekend. It's available on the Disney Now app. So they're doing 6 one-hour episodes. This was episode 5. And I was a little concerned because last month's episode of Maximum Venom had nothing to do with Venom, but this time they kind of brought it back. So I really like the show. I'm kind of sad it's ending. I kind of got back into it. When they did it once a month, it was a little bit more manageable for me. We don't know what the future of animation at Marvel is, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is going to be a binge for me on Disney Plus as soon as I have the chance to.
Yeah, it's can't believe that in the next episode, the cast of zombies. Zombies have as very unique voice roles, which I don't want to spoil because I don't want to reveal anything about the episode. But if you're Marvel fans and you're zombie fans, not Marvel Zombies, that's something different, but you'll enjoy this.
Interesting. Well, now I'm looking forward to that.
Kyle just wanted to reveal that K-pop place is coming soon.
Perfect.
So that's it for what we had planned to talk about. Anything else you want to say?
No, just this was another a really good day of comics. I think we were a little down on Empire. I mean, I won't speak for both of us, but Empire wasn't my favorite. But since they wrapped up Empire, I think we've had consistently really enjoyable issues that we've been getting. So just, looking forward to seeing where these series go and just more great comics.
Yeah, and next week we'll be back with Marvel Time, but then we're going to go straight into Metaverse, which has some Marvel stuff coming up, particularly on Thursday and Friday. So we'll be back to talk sort of Marvel Time special editions, like a one shot, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Black is King, or not Black is King, King in Black.
King in Black.
Well, Beyonce, Venom, whatever. So thanks so much for joining us. And we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.